And with that, Federico, I would like to invite you to share with us some of your experiences at Valmont in accomplishing better flexibility and agility within the constrained situation that we find ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Really nice. I will share my screen now. Let me, application window, this one, and then, can you see the screen? Johnny, I think you might answer because you are the only one that has the microphone active here.
I stopped sharing, so now I see the screen of your presentation, myself and you. Can everyone else see well? You can write in the chat.
Because now I am only seeing my presentation.
Yes, I know, but I'm checking for you, Federico. Yes, we're getting approvals.
Thank you. So, yeah, okay. Again, thank you for being here. And today we are talking about flexibility and the lessons learned from the current health crisis. So as I told you before, Valmont is an American company that, well, what we are doing, it's manufacturing things with steel, okay? And it has 4 divisions. We are a 3 billion revenue per year company listed in the New York Stock Exchange. And in irrigation division, we are #1 in the world manufacturing irrigation machines. I know you know perfectly what an irrigation machine is, but just in case someone doesn't know, okay, I will show you what an irrigation machine looks like. So we are using this all around the globe for the growth and for the crops and for as we like to say, for feeding the world. Okay, and if you can go to the sky and take a picture of many of them working together, this is the picture that you will see. So these machines are like 3 meters to 5 meters height. And the circle can, well, the diameter can be between 700 meters and 2.5 kilometers. So this is what we are doing. And the company is from United States. I am from Spain. And I have been working with Valmont in Spain, but then I moved to Dubai. So I am currently in Dubai. I have to warn about you about the presentation. This is it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be friendly because I'm going to put you some homeworks. Yeah, I like people to do things with the information, and it's not about the information that we know, is what do we do with the information, okay? So there will be some homeworks, and depending on your behavior, maybe there will be an exam. So let's start by talking about, well, first question, okay, regarding the lessons learned. I would like you to go to the pool. There is a box or a tab, something in the right side of the screen that says pools, and I put there some questions. Question number 1 is, what are the lessons learned that you feel more relevant? And I put some of them after brainstorming myself and brainstorming my team, because I told them that we are going to do a presentation today, and they put some ideas. So I would like you to choose one of them, okay? So we will discuss later in the questions and answer session. The other important question and the other important word that we have today, it's flexibility. And why do we need flexibility? Do you know? Let me answer, because we don't have much time. So let me answer just straightforward. We need the flexibility to meet the demand. We don't know what the demand will be next year or next 2 years or next 5 years, and we need to be flexible in our resources to meet this demand. Hopefully to grow the demand and meet the new demand in the same or even better service level that we are doing today. Someone will say, no, but maybe it's also for the disruptions in the market or whatever. Yeah, react to the external disruptions, but for what? For meeting the demand. It's all about demand. And I want to have a simile here. We will compare the demand with the wind, okay? The wind is like the demand. You can more or less forecast if there will be a sunny or if there will be a rainy day, but you don't know in the end where how forced the wind will come into your face, okay? So let's compare these two. And let me start. I have divided my presentation in 3 main points, and we will have some takeaways in each point, okay? And the first one, and this is a lesson learned over the COVID, over any crisis that we had, and we faced like 2 crises in the last 2 years, because we have a very big flood in the United States that affects to our entire facility. So first of all, we need to have an overall view, okay? By the way, parentheses, this picture is Barcelona. It's beautiful, and you can book your tickets today. We will need in Spain some visitors for the oncoming months, so please don't hesitate and book your tickets now. Close parentheses. Look at these pictures now, okay? So when I talk about having an overall view and about the win, that is the demand, it's like having a building, okay? Building, it's our companies. So the buildings needs to be flexible for what? For facing the wind in the top of the building, okay? But the important thing is that to be flexible for this reason, okay, they need to be rigid at some point. So you have to be rigid at some point, tolerant and some others, and flexible to meet your demand. The way that you are applying rigidity for being flexible is up to you and depends on your company, but you need to brainstorm, you need to think about where to be rigid, because if you are flexible everywhere, maybe you can fall down. So in Valmont, for example, we are very flexible at the change that the people can make, but we are very rigid in the inputs that they need to give us before shipping any machine, or we are very rigid in the yard. We cannot move the yard because these machines are very big, and we cannot be flexible on that. So where do you need to be flexible is the answer that you need to, is the question that you need to answer, okay? So the first takeaway is decide where to be flexible and where to be rigid. This is one of the lessons learned. And now imagine a company, okay? Company are always like this. People doing something through process and using some resources that can be a computer, can be a forklift, a trailer, or whatever, a plane. We have some relationship with the suppliers and with the customers, and we have external conditions. And of course, we can have a pain point in our resources, so we use the internal team for resolving it. Or the external conditions might cause a problem in our supply chain. So we need to resolve with our suppliers. But then we have the pandemic situation that it's affecting everything, okay? In this case, something that we learned is that you need to move all together, okay? You need to move everything at the same time. And for that, you need to be intensive in communication. This is the second takeaway that you must have, okay? In this first point, have an overall view and have an intensive communication everywhere. So you need to listen from everywhere, think and decide internally, and then share with everybody and everywhere. So the whole structure with suppliers, customers, the expectations, the capacity of your suppliers, the capacity of your company, it's very well known by everybody, okay? And now, sorry to tell you, I promise you that we will have some homeworks. So I want you to test tomorrow, okay? Because tomorrow is Friday, so for main people will have to work tomorrow. I am not, because in Dubai we have Fridays and Saturdays free, and Sundays we have to work. It's more or less the same. But tomorrow you have to test your communication at all levels. Okay, so check, just think. Okay, how frequent you communicate with your team, with your suppliers, with your customers, or with other departments. Okay, and for that, the second question here. I want you to go to the pool and then answer the question that you will find there of how often do you have conversation of what is going on, okay, with different departments. What is going on is not what you are going to do tomorrow. Of course, you can have a friend in HR and you talk with him every day. No, the point is that something that might concern the entire company, okay, how often do you really discuss this with the departments? Because this is something that you must train, because when we have a pandemic situation of a crisis, it's something that will come as a very important thing, okay? How flexible we are, how agile we are in communication. So this is the second question, okay? If you have already answered, let's jump into the second point. Assess your resources. So now you can forget the building comparison, and we will think about a person that wants to run a marathon, okay? So your resources can be your legs, your heart, your lungs, okay? And we need to have this, all your body very fit, because the point here is that if we compare ourselves or our companies with people who is the people who wants to run a marathon, okay? In this case, the pandemic situation is the race. The point is that we don't know when the race is taking place. So we need to be prepared every day, train every day. Let me put you an example. These are, well, this is a news come in a Spain newspaper 2 days ago, okay, 2 days ago. And I can translate it. It's what you can read here. It's the black hole of data. The government hasn't been able to provide clear and transparent figures during the pandemic crisis due to a lack on updated systems. So it's crazy. You cannot provide feasible data to the world because you have the systems and you didn't have updated. So it's something that, again, let's think about your body, okay? You need to train every day. You need to maintain your resource everyday fit, and this is super important. You cannot have the system out to date. And the second point is that you need to stress them. You really need to see what is your maximum capacity and then observe the leaks, because these leaks are going to be your big problems in the next crisis. And when we are talking about the stress, is think about if you run out of cash, if you run out of space in your yard, because imagine your maximum capacity is 100 containers and you put 100, then imagine that 20 more containers are coming to your yard. What do you do? What are your resources to go over, to go beyond? And this is where the innovation comes. We need to practice innovation every day to be fit, to be prepared for the race, okay? And the second point is make this information simple and agile. This is something that we tested in the last month over the pandemic, that we need to have access to the key information very simple and very agile. So homework, just take your notes. What is the homework? Is think about if you have what you daily need in a simple and agile way, okay? And for that, how we are going to do it? Use the mother test, okay? So I will tell you how it works. My mother is a person that drives a car that has parking sensors, okay? And I was driving with her, well, she was driving, I was with her in the car, and then we were going to park, and then the parking sensors start beeping, beep, 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 and then suddenly what the continuous sound of the parking sensor beep, and my mother, boom, hits the car. And I say, Mom, did you hear the noise? It's approaching the audio car. And she said, yes, I heard it. That's why I touch it softly. So it's not about having a lot of technology, okay? But it's about how the people are using this technology, okay? This is important. If you give a lot of resources, a lot of technology to a person that doesn't know how to use, they will use it in their own way, not in the way that it's supposed to be used, okay? So please do this test, do the mother test, and check if the people can use the system as it's meant to be, okay? Second thing, and it's the other test, and it's the mother test as well, is that we need this information simple and agile. So if my mother takes her car, she knows very well when to stop for a car refueling or to check the tire pressure. If you put my mother in the most fancy car today with auto driving or whatever, you put my mom there, probably she won't use all the technology that the car has, but she still knows when to stop for refueling the car and to check the tire pressure. Why? Because the information in this example, it's very clear, and in all the cars is the same, because they know very well, car manufacturers, what KPIs for you to drive. It's to have gas or electricity and to have also pressure in your tires. So do this test, put your mother in your office, okay? Imagine, of course, don't take your mothers or your husband or whatever you want to take, but imagine take there in your office and explain them, okay, this is my dashboard, ma'am. So if this comes to red or if this becomes yellow, just notify me. So the question is, will your mother, partner, son, whatever you want to put in your office, be able to notify you if something is going wrong in your company? If the question is yes, perfect. You can now focus on another thing. If it's no, please review your KPIs, review the technology you are applying, review the process you have to get the information, because in a pandemic crisis, you will need this information fast and agile because things are moving very fast, okay? And the last point I want to comment, it's about people. It's something that you might see in the question number 1, people. And it doesn't matter if the managers or the company, it's people-oriented, task-oriented. People, it's always the resource more valuable that we have. It's the most valuable resource because they are the ones that are executing day a day your strategy, okay? So we need to motivate them. We need to trust them, delegate, and let them fail. So yes, of course, don't put it in a super high level position that they can fail and they just ruin the company, but let them fail in little things. So they must feel the confidence that you have on them. In this pandemic situation, for example, in Valmont, we felt that the people are very committed with our company, and it's because we are communicating with them daily, weekly, in all the changes. We are very transparent to them, and then is the difference that when you have a crisis, the people should do something, or the company think that we all need to do something. So the most important, talking about people, I will say that it's listen to your people concerns. It's not only to get feedback or whatever, it's what are their concerns, because their concerns are the real showstoppers for the success in your operational execution of your strategy, okay? Well, I put this fancy statement here, just if you want to copy and put it in LinkedIn, it's okay for me, just quote me or just don't quote me, up to you, but it's true. Imagine that you have a person that is doing something and she or he has any concern on his job, okay? If you put more resources of them, you will have exactly the same as with the mother example. Their concerns are translated in something that you don't know what is happening, okay, in your daily execution. And it's, again, daily. So the impact, even if you think that the concerns are not very important, the impact day a day, it's huge at the end of the year. So please take this in consideration. And the homework for this situation is get feedback. That's it. Okay? How? Send an email about this presentation, send an email about this event, and let them comment about it. What do you think? We had a person there taking talking about his mother and talking about the flexibility in the buildings. What do you think? And they might think this is a crazy guy. Okay, but you have already started a conversation with them, and this will be very helpful. And the bonus point is just that all of this is the perfect scenario for making a change. So the change that you might think in the past that you have to do in your company or in your team or in your process, this is the perfect scenario for doing it. So this is where the innovation comes. And you might think out of the box. You need to maybe bypass any process. You need to push till the limits your process, your resources, to see what happens, because in this scenario everything it's possible and everything more or less it's allowed, because we are testing new solutions. And you must again train your innovation by doing this kind of exercises every day with your team. For example, in Valmont, we put one point of contact. So I remind you the other picture that I have about the company with the suppliers or with the customers. So we have one point of contact only, okay, for suppliers, and only one for customers, and other one for the internal company. So we had daily meetings with 3, okay, telling and commenting what is the situation with the suppliers, with the customer, with the company. What are the next supplier that cannot deliver the goods? What is the new customer that needs an extra effort for whatever? So this is very important. One point of contact is just one example, but I can give you thousands of them. For example, we had also the day without mails, because I felt that the communication is not going very well when you have many emails. If you lose something, you lose a lot of information. So we said, okay, no emails, and we test another tools like Microsoft Teams, Jira, Confluence, even Zoom. So just be open to any change and do it during the crisis. That's all. I want to put here the team's takeaways and also the things that we have already commented, okay? In red, what we have already commented, what I have already commented, and in green, most of the things that people told me when I asked them for feedback, and these are the ones that you have in question number 1. So now, time for questions and answers, and I will be very, very happy if someone challenged me, like, you said something very silly, or I want you to explain more about that. How did you do it? So I will be very, very happy to respond every question and answer, and thank you for your time again.